to the big news here in Washington, of course, which is the shutdown. Before lawmakers broke for the weekend, House Speaker Mike Johnson said the House would not return to Capitol Hill this week or in tour till Leader Schumer reopens the government. When is the last time you spoke with Republican leadership?
Well, the last time there was a conversation with Republican leadership was in the White House meeting last Monday. And unfortunately, since that point in time, Republicans, including Donald Trump, have gone radio silent. And what we've seen is negotiation through deep fake videos, the House canceling votes, and of course, President Trump spending yesterday on the golf course. That's not responsible behavior. As Democrats, our view is that we will find bipartisan common ground with our Republican colleagues to reopen the government, to actually pass a spending bill that meets the needs of the American people. But we have to decisively address this Republican health care crisis that is devastating hardworking American taxpayers.
You know, Democrats are demanding an extension of Obamacare tax credits, which expire at the end of the year, as well as other health care benefits for the funding bill. Here is what the vice president said about that this week. Take a look.
It's a lie told by the Democrats that they're not trying to give health care benefits to illegal aliens. It's a lie that is obviously untrue if you just look at the text that they gave us.
He says that Democrats are lying. What is your response to that?
Well, unfortunately, Republicans are lying because they're losing in the court of public opinion as it relates to what's going on right now. We are standing up for the health care of hardworking American taxpayers, of working class Americans, of middle class Americans, and everyday Americans who have seen over the last several months Republicans pass their one big ugly bill, largest cut to Medicaid in American history. Hospitals and nursing homes and community-based health clinics are closing all throughout the country, including in rural America. If Republicans continue to refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, tens of millions of American taxpayers are going to experience dramatically increased premiums, copays, and deductibles. And that information from their insurance companies is going out right now. Now, federal law clearly prohibits the expenditure of taxpayer dollars to provide health care to undocumented immigrants, period, full stop. And no Democrat on Capitol Hill is trying to change.
And this is why I will never in my life, ever vote Democrat again. I'll try to vet through exactly what conservative or independent leaders come through, but I'll never vote for Democrats again because they will just sit there and flat out lie to you. And what they won't tell you is that social services as well as Medicaid, Medicare that directly goes to hospitals for people that are uninsured directly is one of the ways in which they're funding the illegal migrants. But even more than that, right? Because I've showed you guys several different videos. I've had different conversations with people that actually work in these offices, that work in these hospitals, that work in these spaces. They are basically using loopholes that allow for them to continue to send money over to spaces that know that the majority of the people that go to their hospitals, if you want to go over to Denver, for example, the CEO of one of the hospitals over at Denver clearly indicated that it was over, I believe, 3,000 to 8,000 migrants, over 20,000 visits, and they're looking for that reimbursement in order for them to make sure that they stay in that community. They're looking for reimbursements when they know that you basically have to continue to serve illegal migrants even though they weren't supposed to be here in the country in the first place. And that's just one of the ways in which they finesse. So they can talk about what they can and can't do or what they're supposed to do. Even when it comes to healthcare coverage, I'm going to be honest with you, before Obamacare, healthcare costs were significantly, and when I say significantly lower for me than they are when I actually went back into corporate America. I will also tell you that as a person that, and I know that I'm blessed, and I know that I'm very, very in a good space, you know what I'm saying? But I work hard and all of that other type of stuff. I'll tell you that me paying for my own independent services, even when it comes to, let's say I have to get a prescription because somebody gets sick or something like that, the cost comparison of when you're using insurance for it versus when you just pay for it out of pocket, you're paying significantly less out of pocket. So, you know, honestly, I think that the healthcare system itself, they need to let these Obama tax credits or this Obamacare expire. They need to tear it down and build it up from the ground up. And I do not believe that these Democrats are continuing to stand on this. They're willing to let the government shut down over basically illegal migrants continuing to receive health care coverage when they're not supposed to be here inside of the United States of America at all. I will never vote Democrat again based off of this.
Change that law.
But Leader Jeffries, let me ask you, because as you just mentioned, you are also calling for a complete rollback of the Medicaid cuts, which Republicans just passed. They say it's a non-starter. Why include that? Why not just focus on your argument that you want to see those Obamacare tax credits extended, which expire at the end of the year?
This Republican health care crisis is all-encompassing, and it has been devastating to the well-being of the American people. We're talking about people in rural America, working-class America, urban America, small-town America, the heartland of America, and black and brown communities all throughout America. Now, we have made clear that in terms of what's immediately in front of us, there, of course, is an urgent need to address the Affordable Care Act and the Republicans' refusal to extend these tax credits. What we're talking about here is a dramatic impact on real, everyday Americans. A married couple of two, for instance, that makes $88,000 a year, a modest amount, currently pays about $8,000 a year in their health care insurance. That's already too much. But if these Affordable Care Act tax credits expire, that same couple will be forced to pay $24,000 a year. It's unaffordable. It will bankrupt them. It will leave them without coverage. And those are the people who we're fighting for.
But let me ask you, because you say this is a Republican shutdown, but it's Democratic senators who are withholding their votes on what is called a clean resolution. That means no strings attached, which is something, quite frankly, Leader, that you and other Democrats have advocated for in the past. Take a look.
You do not use the threat of shutting down government to try to advance
they're not going to like
your
this.
policy
NBC
agenda.
First thing that the House has to do is pass a clean 6-week CR.
A continuing resolution that is at the fiscal year 2023 levels is the only way forward.
Why not fund the government and debate extending Obamacare tax credits after the fact? They don't expire till the end of the year.
Because that was in 2023 when Biden was still in office. And so everything was working in their favor back then. Now they actually have to not be hypocritical and do the same things, but this actually tells you that they have an ulterior motive and agenda, as well as not liking Trump. But let's see what he has to say. I'm looking at this and I'm reacting to it in real time.
Well, what we've called for is a bipartisan negotiation where Democrats and Republicans can sit down in good faith, reopen the government, pass a spending bill that actually improves the quality of life of the American people in an environment where the cost of living is already too high. Republicans promised to lower costs on day one.
No. You didn't answer the question. You're using talking points, but you didn't answer the question. Again, this is one of the reasons why I will never in my life ever vote for Democrats ever again, bro.
Costs aren't going down, they're going up. And if these Affordable Care Act tax credits are allowed to expire, premiums and healthcare costs are going to skyrocket. And America is already too expensive for the American people because of the Trump failed policies, the Trump tariffs, and this will make things worse. So we just want a bipartisan negotiation that addresses the healthcare crisis at the same period of time with the fierce urgency of now.
Let me ask you, because the administration has targeted you with memes throughout this negotiation. We'll show a screenshot of one of the videos. This was put out by the president.
I can't unsee this. Anyways, neither here nor there. The reality is this. They are fighting for health care for migrants that also allow for different states, like the largest of them, California, to try to plug in some of these budget deficit holes instead of forcing them to balance their own budget and not depend on illegal migrants in order for them to continue to get money from the federal government. I'll cover it more and I'll break it down on the Millionaire Morning Show. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll let you guys later. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments, yo.